It's the George Plaster Show. 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown. And it's a shame it's taken this long to get an introduction for this Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer, Kelly Holcomb, along with young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. Boy, it's strange. We've been out of here for like 5 days, and I'm not going to lie. It's been kind of nice to get a little respite, but we're back ready and raring to go. A little bit of a skeleton crew today. Kelly Holcomb, I don't think will be with us until next Tuesday, and that may mean less conflict between Billy and Kelly.
Yeah, I got a text from Kelly today about an hour before the show saying, I know this really upsets you. I won't be on today.
Nice. So did you have a good Christmas?
I did. It was a great Christmas. It was good to be around family for an extended period. It was weird, waking up not really having much to do,
Yeah.
I mean, even after it was weird. It fell on a Monday, right?
Yeah.
And then, Tuesday, a lot of people get back to work, and then New Year's Day, right, falls on a Monday as well. Or is it New Year's Eve?
No, it's New Year's Day.
So
Monday.
the days, a lot of people might have to get back up and work that next day. But either way, it was a good break, much needed.
Yeah, I won't deny it was much needed. I'm watching right now Capital One Bowl semester, which continues. I've put a new name in it. Normally, Terry McCormick would lead us off with a daily Titans update. However, Terry's under the weather. And so let's go ahead and roll what we normally do, and you and I will do a little bit for him. So, Terry's Daily Titans Update brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. As Lori told me, it's now been about 10 days ago, interest rates are better. They're not great, but they're better. And that better means that there might be options available to you that weren't out there, let's say 2-3 months ago. You might want to take advantage. Dial her up, 615-969-4350. So, Billy, the news about Russell Wilson in Denver, to me, reverberates as far as Nashville, Tennessee, because two things. Number one, it sure looks like Denver is going to be in the market for somebody like a Ryan Tannehill.
Yes.
And it also looks like among the places, I mean, right now, there are three places that clearly need a quarterback. Denver, New York Giants, and dadgummit, who is the third?
Atlanta.
Yep. Okay. Tannehill would appear to be a candidate in any or all of the three, but what he may not have expected is so might be Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
At a price people can afford.
That's an interesting debate, George, or I guess conversation. You're going to be seeing some quarterback carousel going on in the offseason. Wilson is obviously leaving Denver, and I think
sure looks like.
I think we can assume Tannehill's leaving Nashville, and you've got other quarterbacks, around the league. Does a guy like a Flacco stay in Cleveland?
Boy. And there's the living proof right there tonight when Cleveland and the Jets play.
Yep.
Flacco has resurrected his career from kind of a garbage dump.
Yeah.
And so about the time you want to say, well, Russell Wilson is at the end of the road. Is he really?
Not so fast.
I personally don't think so. Number one, I think he and Sean Payton hate each other.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that one of them didn't slug the other on camera, because I fully expected at some point there to be fireworks. Sean Payton never wanted Russell Wilson. Wilson knew it. It had to be a really tense environment.
Yeah.
And, I don't guess I would be totally shocked if they told him, look, take the final couple of weeks off.
Well,
this whole Jared Stidham, please.
Yeah, that ain't working. But, George, it's
Not
interesting.
likely.
I thought Wilson was playing better, and it's almost like
I think he was.
You saw maybe a relationship that slightly improved between Peyton and Wilson. But, I mean, they lost their shot at making the playoffs, losing to the Patriots.
That was a bad loss, but is that all? Because I watched enough of it.
I just say they beat the Patriots. I wonder if we're talking about that. I wonder if.
Oh, I don't know.
I just think that was a loss where you look at it and you go, man. I'm not saying it was on Russell Wilson. He obviously didn't play great, but this is about winning, right?
Yeah.
And
when I watched them, their offensive line didn't exactly percolate.
No. So does every other. I mean, is there how many offensive lines you look at in the NFL and you go, man, that's a good offensive line? I mean,
Philly,
yes. But I told this to somebody, I think on Christmas Day, watching those games. It's hard to watch the NFL. I mean, it really is, because of the lack of almost development with offensive linemen. You have these monster edge rushers that are just killing these quarterbacks, and a lot of these quarterbacks are backups. So, Russell Wilson, that he is, I think, fell victim to a bad offensive line, but I don't think this was ever really going to work out well. I mean, in Denver, it just didn't seem like a great fit. It's almost like they kind of forced it to improve, but it never really got anywhere.
Well, I don't think Sean Payton did Russell Wilson any favors. I think he wanted it to fail. Now, what level of Devo Russell Wilson is, I don't know. I've never met the guy.
Yeah.
There was some stuff that got out about him having a private office and, all this kind of stuff that didn't sound great. But to me, about the time you want to write off a quarterback, example A right now is Joe Flacco.
Yeah. Unreal. I mean, he's on a pretty good team with some good weapons, but
they're dangerous.
Yeah, they are. And they've had some tough games to win here. I mean, they've had to beat some pretty good teams.
Yep.
And Flacco looks like
he's
he looks like old Flacco.
Spinning it.
Yeah, and it's crazy. We thought that the old guard of quarterbacks was dead and kind of died out, but Flacco,
maybe not.
Crazy what he's been able to do. So he's a guy. Does he stay in Cleveland? I mean, same sort of thing. Does Atlanta start to look at that and go, maybe he can be a stopgap for us? Or
I don't know. I mean, I think.
Does Peyton want to work with a veteran? And I mean, I think Flacco's stock now. You look at what he's doing. Who knows?
He's throwing the football well. There are non-believers.
Right. It's what,
3-4
game span?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
But tonight he gets a chance on national TV against JETS,
that's
which
why
is
I'm
a game
excited.
that, in theory, he ought to cook.
Yeah. Flacco has had – it's funny. He's been kind of up and down. He had a really bad interception. I think it was 2 weeks ago, a couple of Sundays ago, and it was just awful. But he made big throws, and he found a way to get the Browns some big wins. It's kind of crazy watching them.
What do we got in the update world?
Well, I want to roll on with another quarterback carousel going on in Minnesota. Kevin O'Connell said rookie quarterback Jaron Hall is going to start Sunday night's game against the Packers. That'll be the Vikings' fourth quarterback change since Cousins went down in Week 8. He replaces Nick Mullins. Mullins was awful. He went 0-2, threw 6 interceptions, and now the Vikings, are on the edge of the NFC playoff picture, and they're kind of trying to find some sort of hope. But, I mean, Jaron Hall hasn't played a ton.
Who is Jaron Hall?
It's a good question. He played at BYU.
BYU, that's what I was thinking.
And he was a pretty good college quarterback, but he just hasn't played a ton. So I wanted to get that out there, kind of along the same lines of what we're talking about with these quarterbacks. I mean, I'd love to know how many different quarterbacks have played this year in the NFL.
And by the way, for the Jets tonight, it's Trevor Siemian because Zach Wilson in concussion protocol.
Another team that's played three quarterbacks.
Trevor Siemian was bagged by the Titans a couple of years ago.
Yeah, where was he before?
Denver, Chicago.
Right. That's right.
A little bit of everywhere.
You're seeing some desperation with these decisions here the last couple of weeks. Can we put in a quarterback that
can win?
But doesn't have a lot of film. Make some magic happen. And I mean, you saw it a little bit with DeVito. He got benched, of course, for Tyrod Taylor. So it's just, man, these quarterbacks have had a tough time this year.
It's insane.
But yeah, Browns are 7.5-point favorites tonight. May have a selection on that a little bit later. But George, bowl season heating up. We had games yesterday and some pretty good ones. USC beat Louisville 42-28 in a game that I don't think anybody really saw coming. Caleb Williams, of course, opted out, but their backup, who I didn't know anything about, this kid Moss, threw for 372 yards, 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And they beat a good Louisville team.
Sure did.
And Plummer played for Louisville. Okay, so he played. So that's what was so stunning about that. Oklahoma State beat Texas A&M last night, 31-23. Marcel Reed played for Texas A&M last night.
Okay, so hold on a second.
Because their starter got hurt.
Right. Yeah. But Marcel Reed, while he was in there, sure looked like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Okay, great escapability, got a great arm. So why is this the first time anybody's seen Marcel Reed?
I'm asking the same thing. I was confused as to why he went to Texas A&M in the first place. I think, he got paid pretty well, as every player does who committed to A&M under Jimbo Fisher. You may see him look elsewhere.
Well, have there not been rumors of him and Vandy?
There have. Of course, Vanderbilt got a quarterback. It'll be interesting to track that. He wanted to play in the bowl game, and all of a sudden his stock probably went up a little bit.
Elko and that staff are probably going,
look, they're saying,
we're not the ones that had you pigeonholed.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked better than any A&M quarterback I've seen all year.
Yeah, and Wigman is still there, so I wonder if Wigman's their guy or if they look at Reed and maybe keep him as the backup. We'll see. But yet there have been rumors out there between him and Vandy. Military Bowl yesterday, Virginia Tech, good win over Tulane, 41-20. I thought it was interesting yesterday. Tulane, great season. They go 11-2. Didn't really look like they wanted to be there. Same sort of thing with SMU today in the Fenway Bowl. They lost to Boston College.
Yeah, in an absolute driving rainstorm.
Oh, it looked awful.
Which, to be honest, takes away a lot of SMU's skill.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, okay, Boston College ordered this weather.
Yeah.
By the way, the game that's going on right now is at Yankee Stadium.
Yes, it is.
And Rutgers leads Miami 14-0 about midway through the second quarter. Can they hear in the background the Rugrat Fest?
I think they can
that
a little
we're
bit.
watching.
Yeah.
So there are a bunch of tournaments out here. Billy, I don't know if there's any way to show what's going on. Back out of the way. Watch these kids. They are having a blast out here. And
it's a Rugrat Fest.
It is a Rugrat Fest. And they got older brothers who are, and this kid wants on TV behind us. That a baby. And so, what you've got is a big Rugrat Fest as they watch their older brothers playing hockey. And clearly they couldn't care less.
They're all up here. This is like the playground for the kids up here. You had another one last night in the Mayo Bowl. Tough night for Mac Brown and the Tar Heels. West Virginia beat them pretty good, 30-10. So those were the games yesterday. You mentioned right now Pinstripe Bowl going on, George. We got a couple of good ones later tonight.
Yes.
NC State and K-State at 4:45 in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, and then Arizona and Oklahoma tonight at 8:15 in an Alamo Bowl. I love that bowl every year. It's usually pretty high scoring. So you got some good games tonight. You got 4 more tomorrow. I want to get to this though. Citrus Bowl, of course, coming up on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Tennessee now favored by 6 over Iowa. It started out at 8.5 with the decision by Joe Milton to opt out. Nico Iamaleava is going to make his first career start for the Vols.
Against a very good defense, and we're going to find out at least a little bit of, what's this kid Nico all about?
Yeah, and they're fired
even though we
up
can't
for him.
say his last name.
No, everybody's just saying Nico.
Yeah.
That's all they need. But there's one more thing here. I know we got Brad Logan.
Let me just say this.
Yeah.
The timing of Milton's announcement
Weird.
suggests that there is more to this story than we know.
Yeah.
Okay, was he pushed into doing this? If so, if not, why do you wait 3 weeks to come to this conclusion?
It was really strange.
I think somebody came to the conclusion for him.
I think you're right. I think you might have a good guess there. One last thing here, George. On Christmas Day, the NFL dunked on the NBA for viewership. The NFL first game, Raiders-Chiefs, 29.1 million.
Right.
Giants-Eagles, same thing, 29 million. Ravens-49ers, 27 million. In the NBA, you had the Bucks and Knicks, 2.5 million. Warriors-Nuggets, 4 million. Celtics-Lakers, 5 million. I mean, that right there sums up the product comparison.
Well,
I wonder, are those the same numbers we're used to be getting on Christmas Day? I mean, obviously those went down because there's NFL games, but this is the toughest show we've ever had to do.
Oh, come on over here a minute. Okay, so this young guy, talk into this. Give us your name.
Jacob.
Say it a little louder. Talk into this.
Jacob.
Okay, what are you doing out here?
Well, we're playing Sabotage. We're playing Sabotage.
Uh-huh.
And my sister's playing along with my teammate.
Yeah. You better go help them. Well, these kids are having a blast.
But I wanted to get that out there.
I think I would describe it as unsupervised mayhem.
Yes. Don't think their parents are up here.
After the break, Brad Logan's going to join us to talk Ole Miss. There's a lot going on. Lane Kiffin has signed an extension, which begs the question, would he have signed it if there weren't a 12-team playoff? Because a 12-teamer feels like it gives Ole Miss more of a shot in the future of getting in. And we'll talk about their bowl game on Saturday against Penn State. So stick around. We got plenty coming. It's a Rugrat Fest here at the Ford Ice Center. Hang with us.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, you need to call Bart Durham. And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. Boy, these days, the news coming out of Oxford, really good. Ole Miss has just had a terrific football season. They've gotten their head coach under a new contract extension, and they're playing Penn State in the Peach Bowl. And so a lot of good things going on down there. In a moment, Brad Logan, who is as wired to the whole Ole Miss stuff as there is, will join us. I think we're going to get him on by phone more than likely, because I know he was on his way from Oxford across to Atlanta. And I wouldn't doubt that he's run into a little bit of rain. Brad, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. How you doing?
I'm doing well, George. Thanks very much for having me on today.
Where exactly are you?
I am. I pulled over off the interstate, so I'm on my way to Atlanta, and a little bit of rain, but yeah, beautiful day because we've got college football on tonight. You and Billy kind of knocked out a couple of games that we'll have a chance to watch, but everybody that follows and covers Ole Miss football is excited about the game in a couple of days. It's Ole Miss and Penn State, George, and you made mention it's definitely a really good year for Ole Miss football. Lane Kiffin mentioned at the press conference that he indeed did sign that extension, noted that it wasn't about finances. It was more about stability for he and his family, he and his support staff, and said he could not be happier with the contract. This opportunity, of course, Ole Miss a chance to win 11 games for the first time in program history. That dates over 100 years. So really good times in Oxford when it has to do with Ole Miss football for sure.
So let's go a variety of places on this. Do you think if it were still going to be a 4-team playoff that he would have been as interested?
I think next year, George, this thing going to a 12-team playoff, I think that obviously plays a factor in the decision to stay at Ole Miss. In fact, you look at what Ole Miss was able to do both on the high school ranks and the transfer portal. When you have a chance, George, just looking at the transfer portal, the number one player in Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, is coming to Ole Miss. They got the number one defensive end, Princely Umalayan out of Florida. They got one of the top linebackers in Pooh Paul out of Arkansas, out of the portal. He's coming to Ole Miss. And then you get the number one junior college player in the country. He, of course, is wide receiver Deion Smith. That's a lot of talent that's going to be inserted into this roster, which, oh, by the way, Ole Miss has only one opt-out for the bowl game. That's Cedric Johnson, who's a senior. But they didn't have any players except one that's going to the NFL draft as of right now. Uncommitted. Did not say one way or the other. Jackson Dart, we spoke to him at the press conference, nor Quinshon Judkins. Neither one of those guys have said whether they're coming back or not. From everything that I've heard, they will be coming back next year. But Still, nothing 100% firm on those two players. So the question is with Dayton Wade, the only player that's opting out or not returning next year, he'll be going to the NFL draft. All of a sudden, Trey Harris, the wide receiver Trey Harris, then you look at running back Quinshon Judkins. We'll see what he does. We think that Ulysses Bentley's coming back. Jordan Watkins is coming back, the other wide receiver. It's going to be a really stacked room. And it should be an opportunity, George, back to your original question. I think that's a lot of the reason that Lane Kiffin signed this contract extension. He feels really good about Ole Miss's chances of making the college football playoff because even with the team he has this year, they probably would have made the playoff or at least gotten very close had it been a 12-team playoff this year.
So, Brad, we've got two coaches in this game that have taken programs way past what anybody ever thought. Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, James Franklin when he was at Vandy. Give me some thoughts on what you thought maybe the ceiling was at Ole Miss that Kiffin has sort of wiped away.
Well, real quick, George, I want to talk about something that you and I have talked a lot about too, about Vanderbilt football. What James did in Nashville hasn't been done and may never be replicated again. He was an incredible head coach, recruited really well to Vanderbilt. Now, doing big things at Penn State. In fact, George, if you look at teams not named Michigan or Ohio State, they've got a 21-game winning streak. So they've won a lot of football games. They're just having a difficult time beating those two powerhouses in the Big Ten. As for Ole Miss, we've seen Ole Miss touch a little bit of success like this. They got close back in 2016 with Hugh Freeze and won the Sugar Bowl, beat Oklahoma State. But we haven't seen them get this high. I mean, we've seen Lane Kiffin do things that hasn't been done, George, since the early 1960s under Coach Johnny Vaught. And if Lane Kiffin can stay in the position he's in over the next couple of years, he can be the winningest, in regards to a winning percentage, the winningest head coach in Ole Miss history. He's very close. He's number 2 to Johnny Vaught. He's the winningest coach since Johnny Vaught from the late 1960s. So, glass ceilings, he's breaking through a lot of them. And a lot of this portal talent and a lot of the ways Ole Miss has played so well this year is because of defensive coordinator Pete Golding. Pete Golding, a guy that played at nearby Delta State here in Mississippi, down the road at Cleveland, served as graduate assistant there, worked himself up. And, of course, we know him now, the defensive coordinator under Nick Saban at Alabama. And he has done wonders under Lane Kiffin, recruiting really well and has this defense clicking on all cylinders.
You'll like this story. About 20 years ago, I get called out of nowhere by a network I had never heard of at the time, CSS, which I later, laughingly referred to as your source for cheap sports. But I got paired up with a guy that I had never met, but I knew instantly, man, this guy's got his stuff together. Walker Jones. And talk to me a little bit about Walker's role at Ole Miss with the whole, NIL collective, because that has to be part of this story.
It's a large part of the story. And a lot of this is because the fan base and Walker Jones and the Grove Collective have been working hand in hand, raising finances for security talent, putting packages together for marketing and insert, situation here, how it has grown the Grove Collective, and Walker Jones has had a large part to do with that. There's no doubt that Ole Miss has packages that put together for players like Walter Nolan, for players like Princely Umalayan from Florida, and other players that they've gotten through the portal, securing a lot of talent. And not only that, I think what Lane Kiffin, Walker Jones, the Grove Collective, Pete Golding, what they've done really well is making sure that the players have not transferred or entered the transfer portal from the existing roster. Recruiting your existing roster across college football has become the number one recruiting goal for programs across the country, and Ole Miss has done a really good job with that. Walker Jones, and I think number one is the relationship he has with the administration, with the coaching staff, and, for the lack of a better word, pulling the same rope. I mean, that's what Ole Miss, the fans, the administration, the coaches, the players, everyone has a common goal, and that's to win. And there is, right now there's not a lot of infighting. There's not a lot of, tough conversations. It's all about winning. And so far, this team, this collective, and this fan base, they're all pulling in the same direction. And it has been a very, very profitable season for Ole Miss in a number of ways. And, winning 10 games, only losing 2 games, and an opportunity to win 11. It's been a great year for Ole Miss. And next year, George, that's what everybody's looking forward to that I've spoken to, both coaching-wise, player-wise, fan-wise. They're looking forward to that 2024 season by how well Ole Miss recruited the transfer portal and how well they recruited the high school ranks this year.
Tell Walker I said hello. Tell him I need an NIL collective.
I'll sure do it. I'm sure I'll see him in Atlanta, and I'll be sure and tell him that you said hello, and he's excited about and that you're excited about getting on that Ole Miss Grove collective.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So tell me this. You alluded to it earlier. Here's James Franklin, who has done a really good job at Penn State, inherited a situation that was far from 100%. And yet he's catching a lot of heat up there for, offensive struggles every time it's Ohio State or Michigan. I know you've listened in on some of these press conferences. Does he sound at all perturbed with it?
George, I think he does a little. And here's a question I asked one of my co-hosts on one of the podcasts that I host with, David Johnson with Inside the Rebels. And I said, David, who needs this game more? Do you think it's Lane Kiffin, or do you think it's James Franklin? And we both agree that James Franklin probably does. I mean, although the team is riding a 21-game winning streak, they can't beat Ohio State or Michigan. And I say can't, they haven't yet. And I think that's probably weighing on him. Manny Diaz, he's off to be the head coach at Duke. There's going to be an interim defensive coordinator. In fact, there's going to be co-defensive coordinators for Penn State in the bowl game. I know you know this, but they've been through some offensive coordinators. They haven't been able to get things to go quite like they would like to. This defense has been number one. I think it's number one in the country right now. It's number one in turnover margin. So I don't think there's any doubt that Manny Diaz has been a great coach. They've got Tom Allen coming in. Tom Allen, a lot of people in Oxford know, a great defensive mind coach at Ole Miss, was a head coach, of course, at Indiana, took Indiana to the heights of the Big Ten, and now he's the defensive coordinator at Penn State. Will not be calling the game, but I'm sure he'll have some sort of input to the game. But, yeah, I mean, offensively, I think that's been a lot of the question marks. Drew Aller, their quarterback, he's a lot like K.J. Jefferson, throws it okay. He's going to run it a lot. He's a big body, so that's something to look forward to. But, yeah, I do think that I don't know if he's feeling some pressure, George, but I did sense a little bit of I'm tired of talking about this with some of the media members.
It dawned on me as I was thinking about it. Here you've got Ole Miss football at heights that it's been a long time since Ole Miss has seen this kind of success. And now all of a sudden you've got Chris Beard and the basketball rolling. Have the big two ever been stronger at the same time?
Not in my lifetime, George. And I don't know that Ole Miss basketball, I mean, you could talk a little bit about 2012, I think, when Ole Miss won the SEC tournament with Marshall Henderson. That was a pretty good high. Ole Miss maybe 1998 when they made the Sweet 16. And maybe when Keith Carter was playing in the 1990s under Rob Evans when they had the whole Valpo shot. Otherwise, I don't know that Ole Miss has had a lot of success, or at least long-term success in basketball. So, yeah, I mean, I think that could be an argument. I don't think Ole Miss has had this much success in football in my lifetime, honestly. And I've been covering the program since the 1990s. So, I think with these two, not to mention Ole Miss is a year removed from winning the national championship in baseball under Mike Bianco, and they're expecting to have a pretty good team this year. And then women's basketball under Coach Yo, they went to the Sweet 16 last year. So I think, and I tweeted this out, I don't know that Ole Miss has had a collection of the Big Four, I guess you could say, in the history of the program. And I don't think anyone's going to argue that. We'll see what happens with basketball. But, yeah, I mean, I think by the time this year's over with football, by the time we roll into next year and by the time basketball's over, it'll be easily the most exciting men's basketball / football seasons in my lifetime for sure.
Hey, Brad, Billy here. Looking forward to this matchup, of course, Ole Miss and Penn State. And I think back to the Texas Bowl. Was that last year in last year's season? Okay.
Yes.
I want to bring that up because last year Texas Tech was fired up. I think they went 6-6, and Coach McGuire had them ready to go, and Texas Tech won it against an Ole Miss team that was better than Texas Tech, but Ole Miss didn't really look like they wanted to be there. Do you sense a different motivation for Ole Miss this year against Penn State, especially because it is the Peach Bowl, and you've got a chance to keep this portal momentum going with a win?
Yeah, I expect a totally different team. Last year Ole Miss fell short to Mississippi State. Once again, the couple weeks before they lost to Arkansas on the road, just got embarrassed. They had the whole Lane Kiffin fiasco was he talking to Auburn? Did he want to stay? Did he want to leave? There was no contract extension. There was a lot of uncertainty there. Not to mention, Ole Miss went into the game against Mississippi State thinking if they win, they've got a Citrus Bowl matchup. Then all of a sudden you're in the Texas Bowl. It's the middle of the week. Very few fans traveled. And quite frankly, I don't know that the coaching staff nor the players wanted to be there. And you know what, Billy? They played like it. The coaches coached like it. Going for it from your own 35. Just things that just didn't make sense. Everything that we've heard, everything that we've seen, Ole Miss is really excited about the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. We heard from Jackson Dart. We've heard from Quinshon Judkins. Although they were not committal on whether they were coming back next year, you could sense a bit of a demeanor. They're ready to play Penn State. It's a much bigger game. It's a bigger stage. And I think an opportunity to catapult the program into the next season. Once again, I said on a couple of shows, it's almost kind of like an exhibition because, I don't know that it matters who wins or loses to a certain extent. But I think what that means for me is that it gives fans a chance to celebrate the recruiting class, celebrate the transfer portals, celebrate a couple of seniors that are going out, and get a jump start into next season, the 2024 season, when Ole Miss fans are really trying to cement their legacy as a football program, as a blue blood. Because if a program gets into the New Year's Six a couple of times like Ole Miss has, all of a sudden, if you get into the college football playoff, you're all of a sudden a blue blood in college football, and that's a place that Ole Miss hasn't been since the 1960s.
I want to ask you about Lane Kiffin here before we let you go. His progression as a head coach is so interesting to me when you look at it. Obviously, was at FAU, did well there. Of course, we know about his time in Tennessee. How have you seen him grow as the head coach at Ole Miss to all of a sudden now this offseason? I mean, there's some hype for them making the playoff. Not only that, but potentially winning the national title next year. So how has he done this?
Well, at the one point last year, I think after the season, he said, I needed Oxford and Ole Miss more than they needed me. And now there may be some arguments from Ole Miss fans that they were really excited that Keith Carter, the director of athletics, hired Lane Kiffin. But I think he's grown a lot emotionally. I think he's grown a lot, not to get too deep in the weeds here, but he's from the city of Oxford, from a community standpoint, from a family standpoint. He's got some family. Some of his children go to school at Ole Miss, and so I think that has helped things a lot with his daughter in school at Ole Miss. And I think surrounding himself with a really good support staff, surrounding himself with really good coaches, I think that has gone a long way as well. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I think Jeff Lebby was a great offensive mind. He goes off to Oklahoma. A pretty good relationship there, I think. Goes off to Oklahoma, does big things now as the head coach at Mississippi State. Hires in Charlie Weiss, someone that he's very familiar with at Florida Atlantic. I think they work well together. A lot of people have said they don't know who calls the plays. I don't think it really matters. I think they play well off each other, talking about strategy into deciding what play to call. Charlie Weiss and Lane Kiffin script the opening of a game better than any program in the country. And then, of course, Pete Golding. Ole Miss lost Chris Partridge, but brings in Pete Golding, who's done a phenomenal job with this Ole Miss defense. And I think it's just been a melting of a couple of things, Billy, that have made the coaching stint for Lane Kiffin much, much better than any of us could ever have imagined. And I think if you ask him, it has ended much, much better than he could have envisioned too. I don't think he or anyone else expected Lane Kiffin to be at Ole Miss this long, but there's been so much success, and the schedule working out like it has. It's working out perfectly for Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin to have a big year next year.
So how many Ole Miss people will be in the building Saturday?
Ole Miss had 13,000 tickets were sold through the university. But look, George, I expect it being on a Saturday and an opportunity you don't have to take off any work. Atlanta is very close to Mississippi, not to mention it's a really good melting pot of Ole Miss alumni around Atlanta. wouldn't surprise me to have 30 or 40,000 Ole Miss fans inside the stadium.
That's what I think. It'll be hotty-toddy all over the place. Listen, enjoy. Happy New Year. Thank you, as always, for everything you do for us, Brad.
George, you're a dear friend. Billy, thank you for having me, and thank you guys, and have a wonderful New Year.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad. Brad Logan. He is as inside the Rebels as it gets.
That's a good name for him.
It is a good name for him. Okay.
Meanwhile, a good name for all these kids is
so
Rugrats.
can you that they're dying to get on. You know that. They've been trying to position themselves behind you. So get them all over here for a second. Let's get them all in one fell swoop.
Well, now they're
get it over
now they're
with.
distracted by
now
something
they don't
else.
care. You know what? We'll get them on at the start of the next segment. We'll go to the break. The Rugrat Fest continues, and we will talk the Joe Milton decision. Who really made it? Stay with us.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458, or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Okay, these kids are from the Nolensville, Nashville Warriors. Y'all wave to everybody. Yeah. Now, what is it you're supposed to say? I couldn't hear it. Can you do it a little louder? Okay, good job. They just made, hey.
What have you done?
Oh, when I said Rugrat Fest, I wasn't kidding. Look at them. They're having a great time. So they play today at 3:45. And if they bring as much enthusiasm to the ice as they have up here, they'll be having a big time. Okay, let's talk. Looks like Mom stepped in there.
Yeah.
So how do you think the Joe Milton deal went down?
Well, I mean, I've heard a couple of things. I heard that there were probably some big money people over in Knoxville kind of pushing and nudging at Coach Heupel or whoever, they talked to through the program to get to the staff and saying, hey, we paid $8 million of our dollars to get this kid to campus. He needs
Nico.
to play. Yeah, we want to see him. And all the fans want to see him too. But I also think the staff kind of nudged Milton into a decision. Now, I'm not 100% sure on any of this. It's all speculation. But, I mean, how a lot of these go down is the staff will say, look, if you want to make it to the NFL and he's kind of a fringe type of guy. I mean, I'm sure he gets drafted, late. But, I mean, who knows? So George can't stop laughing.
Oh, my God, have we opened up an absolute disaster here. Billy, here to me, this feels a little bit like the underbelly of NIL. Does it not?
It does. I mean, but for Tennessee, I mean, if I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm a lot more happy and excited about this game now because Nico is playing. And this probably isn't even an issue before the NIL era. I mean, I think you're 100% right. The money that was involved in getting Nico to campus is what made this decision. So
I think you've got a variety of these kind of quarterback conundrums going on.
Yeah.
At A&M, I'll guarantee you today, that's the whole talk is Marcel Reed from Nashville, Tennessee, sure looked good. Where the hell's he been all year? Now, Elko and his staff have the perfect out to be able to say, hey, we weren't making the decisions.
Right.
Where in Knoxville, it really felt like that Josh Heupel felt an obligation to Milton.
Yeah.
And look, Milton, from all accounts, and in particular from Tony Basilio, sounds like a great kid.
Yeah.
And a kid that, a young adult, let me paraphrase here, that any of us would want to root for. But there came a point in the year where it felt to me like they had about 5 plays.
Yeah.
They had a sideline pattern. They had a slant pattern. They had a chuck it as far as you want to chuck it and a little slip screen out in the flat. I can tell the parents have apparently left the premises.
But I also heard that he was getting some reps, a lot of reps, at Vanderbilt week. So they kind of, obviously Milton was going to start no matter what in that Vanderbilt game. But, he got a lot of reps that week as well. So these kids are getting some reps too.
Oh, they're getting all kinds of reps. I wish you could see what I'm seeing. So is this good for college football, though? What's going on? I mean, I sure don't think so.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's 2 different generations. Watson, Kelly, obviously y'all aren't big fans of it. But I think the younger generation thinks it's really fun and it's a new and improved way to enjoy college football. But I can't talk anymore, George. But no.
Aren't you supposed to be able to rise above this?
I don't know. How do they do it on College Game Day with all those?
Well, I mean, that's what they deal with. The only difference is these kids don't have any signs. Now, I will say this. they seem to be getting closer and closer. That part I've noticed.
They are.
Not a lot of what I'd call personal space.
No, you're up there, and they're all down here.
Yes, and I like it that way.
But no, George, I personally like it. I mean, it's like that. I think this is a big reason why the college game is a lot more enjoyable than the NFL game right now. You know, I mean, what you look at it right now, the NFL is honestly partly unwatchable, just like this show right now.
It probably is. Well, when you say unwatchable,
maybe not unwatchable.
I mean, it gets a 29 share on Christmas Day.
Yeah, that was too far.
So, how unwatchable is it?
Not unwatchable.
Now, let me say this: Kansas City's first drive was unwatchable.
It
Good
was.
Lord.
But I mean, I was trying to
Can
watch.
you say hungover?
I was trying to watch on Christmas Day, and it just wasn't. There wasn't much of a pull, other than that night game, of course. But even that night game was just kind of dull at some point. So I don't know.
So what if I told you I didn't see the night game?
Wow, how did you miss that?
I saw the best movie I have seen in years.
What is that?
And I don't do a lot of bragging about movies, but I went and saw the thing about rowing the boat. Enough back there. Hey, back off.
Oh, man.
So the boat rowing deal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's an incredible story involving a University of Washington rowing team that just does incredible stuff. Billy, first of all, I wouldn't know the first thing about rowing.
Yeah.
But here's what I do know. By the end of the movie, people were up cheering and clapping.
Wow.
It was amazing. I will say this. If you're a sports fan, go see that movie.
Yeah, I saw some commercials about it in the trailer. It looks really good. I didn't know it was already out. But that's why you missed the game, huh?
Yes. And you know what? If given the opportunity, might miss it again. It's a heck of a movie.
But meanwhile, these college games, I'm not missing the college football playoffs. I'm not missing a lot of these big bowl games like, tonight's game. I really want to watch that. And it's kind of a high-tier bowl game, but these NFL games, these are big regular season games. I'm not glued to the TV like I normally am. I think it says a lot about the college game and how entertaining and dynamic it has gotten. As opposed to the NFL, it's kind of, not saying it's deteriorating. It'll always be the NFL, but the same pull, it just isn't there for at least me.
Okay, but here's the part that's hard to dispute. It won't get any better than Michigan, Alabama next Monday.
No.
You've got Big Ten versus SEC, North versus South.
Yeah.
The whole 9 yards, and yet, truthfully, the NFL game, the Christmas Day games probably outdraw it.
The playoff, I don't know, that Alabama-Michigan game.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't miss it for the world. And most people in the South wouldn't.
Yeah.
But, on the other hand, you see wow.
Don't they have a game to be getting ready for or something?
You know what? We're going to see to it that they do shortly.
The audio listeners are probably very confused right now.
Here's the thing. It's my fault. I opened up a can of worms.
You did.
Yeah. It was a cute idea at the beginning that simply went south.
It went south quick.
Okay. After the break, we will have stat of the day and then Underdog Picks. Who knows who's going to be a part? It feels like some people are opting out.
Yes.
However, the guy that's red hot is Pogie. We'll explain more when we come back.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. Okay, these are the kids from the Nashville Nolensville Warriors, and they have one last message. Let's hear it. Okay. Well done. As the Rugrat Fest continues. Okay. Now we have stat of the day coming. Where are we going with this?
Well, let me get this pulled up. And it is time for Stat of the Day, brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards. There it is. You can find them out in Shelbyville. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday, from noon to 5, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call, 931-492-4304. All right, here we go. See what Matthew's got for us. Well, for you, George.
Yeah.
On Sunday, Amari Cooper became the second player to have a 200-yard game for 3 different teams in his career. Who was the first?
Now, wait a minute. Are we talking about receiving yards?
Yes, receiving yards.
Okay, so that person has to get traded some.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? Let's bring Pogie in here and blame him for some of this as well. Greg Pogue will be on the call tonight. TSU's OVC opener at the Gentry Center against UT Martin. Pogu,
hello there.
Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, so thanks for bringing me into this. Man,
I
don't know.
This is a hard question.
Well, let me ask you this. Jerry Rice
would never have had in Seattle, which was
what did he do with the Raiders?
Yeah, but I don't think he would have gotten anywhere close to that in Seattle.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
it was a good try. It'd be funny.
Can we get an era? Can we get a hint? And it's the season of giving.
Poogie's absolutely right.
Let me say, not too long after Rice, but definitely into the early 2000s.
Ooh.
Wow.
Would an Andre Rison have played
how
for
about DeAndre Hopkins? Right here in our own backyard. Did he hit 1,000 yet?
Has he had a 200-yard game with the Titans? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. All right. I get it.
I like where you're going, though. Odell Beckham.
Yeah, that's a good one there.
Giants.
But you got to look at Keyshawn John. How many teams do those kind of players that play for
let's go with Keyshawn.
Yeah,
I like
Keyshawn
that.
Johnson. How about that?
Incorrect.
Oh, man.
T.O.,
who had a sign in Cleveland that said, T.O. has B.O. One of the all-time great signs.
That's a good one.
Okay, so it appears at the moment that we've had a couple of opt-outs.
Yes. We've got a few opt-outs.
How does the commissioner rule on such a thing?
Well, waiting for word on Willie Donick and his availability.
You, of course, are going to have to take care of Kelly, who has an legitimate excuse.
Yes, excused absence.
Yes.
And it is a legit excuse.
So shall we do some reviewing? Because Poggi is on fire.
He is on fire.
He has blown me into the dust and is now threatening to win the damn thing.
Yeah, Poggi with a hell of a weekend. We'll start with George, though. Tough weekend for George, and I think we do have Willie in. Willie, you there? Oh, maybe not yet. We'll wait for a few more seconds to get Willie in. But George, Tulane lost.
George took the gas.
Yeah, 41-20, and then UNLV lost big time. Gave up 49 against Kansas. Lost 49-36, and those were big games. I mean, if you would have just won one of them.
We were going for home runs, and instead we got dusted. Willie, where are you?
George, I am on a bus about to head into the hotel, the team hotel here in Detroit, where it is raining and cold.
Okay. Detroit.
That's right. Home of the Red Wings.
Tell Willie how he did last week.
Willie with North Carolina lost 30-10, but got a win with Northwestern, 14-7 over Utah. And got to give a shout out to Cam Johnson, a local kid out of Brentwood Academy, had a touchdown there. Willie, you salvaged. You at least you got one.
I needed that one. So what are the standings here?
Well, hold on a second.
Yeah, there. Hey, are y'all playing at Cobo Arena tomorrow night? What?
The Cobo Arena, I have walked by there. I have seen it many times, but that's right next door to the old Joe Louis Arena. But the new one is on the other side of downtown. So I will not be going near Cobo, Poggi. And I will not be going to see the Pistons, who have lost, 27 in a row? Is that right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's certainly a proud moment for their franchise. Okay, now
Kelly,
here's why Willie was a little worried.
Yes, Willie was worried, deservedly so, because Kelly won with Georgia Tech 4.5, so he picked up 4.5 points. Rice lost, but he got one win that he needed. And for Willie's sake, Willie had that Northwestern win that saved him and keeps him in first. We'll take a look at the standings, but I do want to give a shout-out to Poggi. One heck of a weekend. Duke, minus 7.5, or plus 7.5, rather, won 17-10. And then USC. Who would have thought USC, without Caleb Williams, would have pulled that off with their backup, thrown for 6 touchdowns? Poggi, how about that?
But there's actually...
Well, yeah, let me add something, too, that is not you have not figured in the standings this time last week.
I have figured in the standings.
Okay, you know where I'm going with you, right?
I do.
Because I also have South Florida with a victory that should be tabulated. Maybe couldn't get into the graphic.
I have tabulated it.
But last Thursday night, South Florida hit. So that's, I think, 4 in a row.
Poggi's on fire.
So you just mentioned that. So you tabulated those points in.
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you.
So because of that, Willie, you're still in first place, 47.5 points. Kelly is in second with 40.5 points.
Excused absence.
Yep. Poggi in third and alive and well with 36.5 points. And George at the bottom with 15
pitiful
points. So all of a sudden,
just a bad year.
Willie, Poggi's creeping up right behind you, and he's got a chance if he can stay hot this time around.
Okay, I'm going to have to pick accordingly. So I have 47.
You have
47.5.
And a half. Can't forget
It's
the
kind of
hook.
like Final Jeopardy. It's kind of like Final Jeopardy. You have to make your picks smart here.
Got to be smart. So that's what we've got. Those are the current standings, and I'll give the order before the break. Number one.
Well, hold on. Let me find out what Willie's situation is. Willie,
Okay.
do you need to do this now?
No, in fact, I'm in good shape here. We'll be getting off the bus and going into the hotel here soon, but I'll be fine. It'll probably be better if I'm in the lobby than on the bus here.
Yes.
So let's go with our normal rhythm as we drove past Comerica Park, George, which is right next to Ford Field and the new Little Caesars Arena. Nice little sports complex they have up here.
It's been the home of some really bad baseball.
Yeah.
Why don't you go back there and get
What a
Philip
nice park down the
Forsberg? Get Philip Forsberg to do your picks. Go back there in the back of the bus and ask him for them.
Well, we're not on the bus with him. We're on the bus with the media and the extras. But it is better than jam packing into one bus where you have to be quiet.
What would you define?
Now they're making fun of me on this bus.
What would you define as extras?
They're calling me a loser. How good
Right.
called me a loser? Yes, extras.
Extras. Hangers on.
Yeah, pigeons.
Pigeons. Wow.
Kelly would
so
be.
Hal Guild called you a loser.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
What else have you been
The
called?
insults are raining down.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
What else have you been called?
Lindsay Rowley says hello from Mercy.
Hello, Lindsay.
Thank you.
They all say hi. Yeah,
Yes.
they all say hi, but they're all heckling as well.
It's not real good sportsmanship, is it?
No. I'm going to try to stay focused here.
Yeah.
Because I got a championship I'm trying to win here.
Right. They don't give a damn about your championship.
No, they don't. They don't care at all. They do
In
not.
other words, he's wanting this to go on so he can get off the bus and go to the lobby and get away from them. That's what
right.
he's wanting to do.
You know,
Okay.
it's kind of
This
like
is-
when you start talking about your fantasy team to your friends. They don't
Right.
care.
They don't
Unless
care.
they're in your
Yeah.
league, they just
Yeah.
don't care.
Okay, we'll go to the break on that. And then what is the order?
Leading off will be Willie. Second will be Kelly. I'll make Kelly's picks. Third will be Pogue. Fourth and fifth will be George, so back-to-back picks. Sixth, back to Pogue. Seventh, back to Kelly. And then eighth is Willie.
Look at Pogie with his legal pad. Very impressive. Yeah. Okay, we'll go to the break. I think it's fair to say that I've been mathematically eliminated. However,
Hey, Willie, don't you, because obviously now Willie's George is gonna all lunch or dinner. I think we need to go to McCabe's Pub one more time because I see where that's closing, sadly, in the next couple of weeks.
I know. I heard that. I was very sad to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a lot of important planning at that McCabe Pub.
We certainly.
Once upon a time, did we
Yes.
not? We mapped out a whole vision for a radio station once upon a time.
We did. Now that I think about it, yes.
Was
You're
I
right about
included? Was I included in that?
You were in the equation. You were in the equation.
We needed a Santa Claus.
Well, it's sort of like the Arena Football League. It was done on cocktail napkins, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll go to the break and then we'll get into the final selections for the 2023 college football season that likely will extend at least one day into 2024. Hang with us.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
The George Plaster Show is Nashville's best sports talk, 2 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. There's a podcast version available on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donley Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. This is the final edition of Underdog Picks. We will pick games through the New Year's Day Bowls. Each of us will have two selections. From everything I can tell, I've been mathematically eliminated.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is true.
Proud moment. Pogie getting ready for Tennessee State duties, thus dressed a little more appropriately for his visit to Gentry Center.
Are you coming out tonight?
I am not.
Yeah, I figured you might come out. So, all right.
Willie Donick, we don't know how he's dressed. We assume appropriately from somewhere near Cobo Arena in Detroit, where the Predators will play the Red Wings tomorrow night. Kelly Holcomb not with us, so Billy will make his selections. Commissioner, take it away.
All right, no music, so we could kind of get going.
Is that so?
That is so.
Seems lazy.
A lot of picks to make.
Seems lazy.
And we will kick it off with Willie Donick. Willie, first pick. What you got?
All right, I am going to take. I'm going to take Ole Miss, and I've got them at 4.5 as an underdog against Penn State in the Peach Bowl. Penn State's got a couple of opt-outs. This is the hard thing at this time of the year. You just have no idea how the opt-outs are going to affect the game, as we just got done talking about with USC. So I'm just going to take a shot with Ole Miss.
Okay, so Willie taking a shot with the Rebels of Ole Miss, Saturday, 11 a.m. kick down in Atlanta against Penn State. Okay, up next, Kelly Holcomb, and that'll be me. And Kelly gave me his first pick. It was Ole Miss.
Really?
So, Willie, Kelly's not going to be happy about that. That was his first.
He's going to have to get over it.
Yeah, he'll probably call you a communist.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Who cares what he thinks?
But
I think Billy does, because Billy seems really at ease today.
Really at ease.
Oh, that does.
Yeah, because I think Kelly keeps you on your toes a little bit.
He
In other
does.
words, they think he's in your head.
Well, if anybody is, it's Kelly. But I'll go Wisconsin. That was his second pick. Wisconsin is a 10-point dog against LSU on New Year's Day in the ReliaQuest Bowl. So I'm going to go Wisconsin plus 10 for Kelly there. So big number. That could be a big win for Kelly. All right, we'll move on next to Pogue. Greg, what you got?
Well, am I 11 back or 12 back of Willie? Could you look at that real quickly, please?
11.
11. Okay, so I need at least 11 to tie 12. Okay, do you think the Notre Dame Fighting Irish want to be in El Paso, Texas to play the Sun, whatever it is, bowl? No. Give me Duck of Luck, Oregon State. No, that would be the Beavers, wouldn't it? Give me Beaver Weaver.
Okay, so Pogie riding with Oregon State plus 6 is what I've got that at.
All right.
Against Notre Dame. That's this Friday. All right, George, what you got?
Going back to our roots, I will take the University of Memphis.
What?
Memphis.
Oh, Memphis. Okay.
Memphis.
Kelly, I'm sure would be laughing at that.
I don't. I'm not concerned with Kelly.
But once again, you keep bringing up Kelly like we really care what Kelly thinks, Billy.
Well, Kelly brings a lot of life to the show. And
he does.
It's a big miss today. Anyway, Memphis plus 10.5 against Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah.
You think Memphis brings a lot of people there, George?
Yep.
Okay.
I think Iowa State's in, they're in the eye of the tiger. I mean, this
What?
is
the eye of the
Memphis
tiger.
is going to score. They're going to come really close to winning this.
Wow.
I think it's a good pick, too, by the way. Yeah.
Logie, thank you for your vote of confidence.
Well, yeah, it's not often I can say that.
I'll be honest, I don't really care.
You got two, George.
Yeah, I know I do. I'm going to take Liberty. I'm going to leave the important stuff.
Come on, man. You got give me Liberty or
give me death.
Thank you.
And with that selection, I have now been eliminated.
So you take Liberty and death.
Yes, I have been mathematically eliminated.
Give them Liberty and death.
Yes.
All right, Greg, back to you. What you got for your second?
Well, I got to do the math. By the way, yeah. Maryland plus 6.5. Here in Nashville. Did you hear this afternoon? It was announced that Maryland will wear an FW emblem on their helmet at the Music City Bowl. Which
I had heard that was in the works in honor of
some other tributes as well. I hear too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's really cool. So Maryland, go Terps, go Frankie.
Maryland plus 6.5 against Auburn in the Music City Bowl on ABC. So they've got the ABC spotlight there on Saturday. The Terps plus 6.5 for Pogie. All right, Kelly's next pick is going to be the Tigers of Missouri. Missouri is getting 3.5, so not a big number. But if Kelly has his other win, he might have a chance to kind of put the icing on the cake for a win. Mizzou plus 3.5 against Iowa State. That is Friday night in Arlington.
So this last pick is a huge one.
Yes.
Because it ultimately could decide what's going on. Willie, tell us the ones you're considering, since it doesn't matter anymore.
I've got two.
Okay.
I've got two that because there's a limited number that are left here.
Right.
But I've got two. It's either Kentucky or
Washington.
So the question is, do I take Washington in a game that means something and really carry out the drama all the way? Because then on New Year's night, the title will be on the line. I feel like for the drama of the show, George, and for, peak interest in the underdog contest, I feel like I got to go Washington.
Okay. Well, that's certainly kind of you to do
I'm
that.
taking the Huskies.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Huskies.
I think it has more to do with your confidence in Michael Penix.
Well, he's a player. There's no question. But Texas is pretty loaded. I don't know. I mean, that's a talented team. But Washington, they showed me something when they thumped Oregon in that championship game. Everybody kind of expected Oregon to roll, and Washington whipped them.
Okay.
So they got something.
So it could be coming down to the wire to that game between Washington and Texas to see who wins it. Let's run through a little bit of review for these. Willie, his first pick, Ole Miss plus 4.5 against Penn State. Kelly's first pick, Wisconsin plus 10 against LSU. Pogie's first pick, Oregon State.
LSU. If Wisconsin
hits,
wins, we got a problem.
Yes.
We got a problem.
Big one. Pogie's first, Oregon State plus 6 against Notre Dame. George, his first couple of picks, or last, I guess. Memphis plus 10.5 against Iowa State. And Liberty and Death plus 17 against Oregon State. Pogie's second pick, Maryland, plus 6.5 against Auburn in the Music City Bowl. Kelly's second pick, and this is a big one too, Missouri plus 3.5 against Ohio State. And the last pick of Underdog Picks, Willie takes Washington plus 4 against Texas. Gentlemen, buckle up.
Well, I've been figuring with my Kentucky public education at work here, if I go 2-0, Kelly goes 1-1, that one being Missouri, and Willie goes 0-2, I'll be on here next Thursday at 3 to pick up my crown.
Could you imagine?
Is that so? Wow.
Yes.
Little cocky about it, aren't we?
Feeling good, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Scared money doesn't win. Scared money doesn't win, man.
You're exactly right.
Where are you taking them to dinner, Pogie?
No. Let's see.
No.
See that scene?
We're saying that.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so George, that question's for you.
So the question is to George because that has already been secured.
Right. Let me say this. Wherever I end up taking you all, it'll be better than Willie's flimsy debit card from years ago.
Well, can I reveal what my strategy was going to be if I ended up in the cellar?
Let's hear it.
My strategy was going to get some freebies to the Lexus Lounge for a Preds game.
That is shameful.
Wow. If I'd have known that, I'd have tanked. I would have tanked all year if I'd have known that.
Well, there have been some people that have had a little too much fun in the Lexus Lounge, and they have not been invited back. And so that would have been a thing. I feel like I would have been accused of being cheap, but I think at the end of the day, they would have said, well, there is pretty good food and drink in the Lexus Lounge.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those who've been banned from the Lexus Lounge, okay? Just clear the room.
No, I didn't say. I didn't name any names, but there are people that you guys know that have not been invited back.
There was an inquiry, but I'm fine.
Okay, good.
Have you been banned from any other places?
Deja vu.
Yeah.
I made it rain, and one of those nickels put out a girl's eye.
Oh, that's an American tragedy. Pogie, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, and Willie and everybody, Billy, Kelly. Hey, thanks for letting me be a part of this. It's been fun.
Absolutely. Get Penny Collins a win tonight.
Yeah, good. It's it's starting. This league is really probably better than a lot of people think. It's what, Willie, you talk about. The transfer portal changes the game completely. You've got Austin P, which is not in the OVC anymore, obviously, but Austin P is one of, I think, 2 or 3 to have every player be a new player and not a single freshman on the team. Every player is a new player and not a single freshman.
It's going more that way than it is the other way, which is because I thought maybe after a couple of years of the Wild West, people might say, you know what, the grass may not be greener on the other side, but it's anything but that. It's going further into the
it hurts it hurts the next tier of high school prospects because there's just not they're waiting on the transfer portal to see who's in there. Obviously the 4 and 5 stars are going to be recruited, but the rest of them are sort of left out. It's really and not. And it hits everybody, not only the Power Fives, but certainly in basketball, the mid majors.
Well, and what you're seeing too is in these big states like a Texas state in football. They can kind of promote. There's kids all over the place in Texas, Florida. With an FAU, a lot of those big time states with a lot of people. Georgia, a lot of those smaller schools like a Georgia State can quickly, especially in basketball, put together a group and compete. So it can help those teams a lot.
So, Willie, get the Preds a win tomorrow night. They need one.
Yep, need to bounce back. They played some really tough teams here recently, and they let the one get away right before Christmas. So they need to feel that winning feeling once again here.
That is one of the strangest feelings walking out of that building that afternoon that I have had in a while.
I know. You get so excited when it goes the other way. They had almost the exact opposite, remember, earlier this year against Colorado.
Yeah.
An unbelievable win. And then, Andrew Burnett said it. Sometimes the hockey gods get even, and that's exactly what happened. So you feel equally as downtrodden after that. And then last night was just a weird one. They played well in a lot of areas of the game, but too many undisciplined penalties.
Yep.
And a couple of strange bounces, and the next thing you know, they're down 5-2. And I think Carolina, watch out in the second half. They're going to be up there at championship level once they get it all together.
Agree. Willie, Happy New Year to you. Talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Pokey,
see you, Willie.
Behave.
Yes, thank you. Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year to you as well.
All right.
We'll go to the break, and then we'll have the Plaster Bet of the Day. Not 1, not 2, but 3 selections tonight. You'll want to stick around.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Final segment on a Thursday. A little scoreboard update in the Pinstripe Bowl up at Yankee Stadium. Miami leads Rutgers 17-14 in the third quarter. In that one, we've got a couple of more bowl games tonight. 4:45, NC State and K-State in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. And then at 8:15 tonight, Arizona and Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl. We've also got an NFL game tonight. Browns and Jets, Jets. But first, Plaster's bet of the day. We've got a lot of reviewing to do. It's brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call, 615-242-9000, or log on to bartdurham.com. And, George, let's take a look at what happened over the last, I guess, week and a half or so. A lot of picks made. Georgia Tech won, of course, that bet won. The Steelers bet one, and the Ravens bet one, but you had four losses. Arkansas State, James Madison, Utah, and Denver against the Patriots. Come on.
The Utah was a shocker.
That was tough. How about the season Northwestern had?
Yeah.
My gosh.
It's really one of the amazing stories of the 2023 college football season.
Yeah. On the other hand, Utah, that Bryson Barnes struggled a lot, and I think they're happy to see old Cam Rising's coming back for a ninth year of football next year, because I don't think Barnes is the guy.
It does feel like a ninth year. So we need to reestablish the standard of excellence that has been so prevalent in this segment. When I put this together late last night, Cleveland was a 7-point favorite against Jets. If you get it at 7.5, you might rethink it because that half point's big. But the bottom line is Cleveland's got a lot to play for. Something tells me that their defensive line, their front four, will cause some level of turnover that gives Cleveland some cheap points. And they will win in double digits tonight in Cleveland.
And Joe Flacco's been playing well. I think he's gonna keep it rolling.
Now, the 4:30 game that will start here in about an hour or a little bit less. Two really solid football teams, not great, but very solid. K-State out of the Big 12, NC State out of the ACC. I don't know. There's not a lot to separate these teams. I'm going with Kansas State. They have the better uniforms.
They do. I like those K-State uniforms. And their quarterback, Will Howard,
will not play.
And I'm wondering, is Brennan Armstrong playing for NC State?
No.
I'm trying to
figure
that out.
But the backup kid at K-State has played a lot. So it's not as though
he has.
It's not as though they're just putting somebody in there out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Brennan Armstrong's going to play, and he said, I really want to finish it strong, his career strong. So It'll be interesting. Does that matter? Obviously, the line is K-State
Sure
minus 2.5. We'll see. This should be a good one.
Should be a really good game. The last one is a blue blood versus a team that has gotten red hot at the end.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, Arizona has become a really good football team. Oklahoma in San Antonio should have the home field advantage.
Yeah.
I'm going with Oklahoma, period.
I agree. No Dylan Gabriel. They're going to give it to Jackson Arnold, their big 5-star freshman, similar to what Tennessee's doing with Nico.
Yeah.
Imaliava. So I think this is the best bowl so far. The highest ranked teams going at it. I'll be looking forward to watching that one.
In fact, these last two today,
the two best
look
so
like
far.
they're really good.
Yeah.
Okay, tomorrow on the show, Mark Griffin will join us. We'll get a little bit of a preview of the SEC basketball season, which begins a week from Saturday. Watson Brown will join us as well. We've got a lot of bowl news to talk with him about. And Billy, it'll be a little quieter tomorrow.
No more Rugrats?
I don't know, but we may put a rope around it. Act like we're really important.
That was good stuff.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Listen, all of you have a good Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow on the show.